What's up, guys? Mike from Project A60, and today I am actually heading out of town to go help one of my good friends change a fuel pressure regulator in his Audi that he has. I believe it's the V6 model. Last week he called me. He ended up picking this Audi up for a good deal, but it wasn't running. And I went down there, ran it, my scan tool through it to check the engine codes because the check engine light was on, and the fuel pressure regulator code came up. Currently it's 95 degrees outside. It's probably about 95% humidity. It is absolutely disgusting outside. It's one of those days where if you try to go into shade to cool off or catch a break from the heat, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. I did notice, and I did look up if there was any tutorials on how to change a fuel pressure regulator on an Audi, and there isn't on YouTube. So I kind of figured this would be a cool little, I don't know, this would just be like a cool little video on how to change a fuel pressure regulator on an Audi for people that are looking to do it. Kind of do like a step-by-step. I've done it before on other cars. It's pretty straightforward. If you have some mechanical skills and background, you should be able to figure out how to change it. I'm sure things are going to go wrong. I'm sure we're going to end up swearing. I'm sure we're going to be throwing stuff across the parking lot just because we're going to be really hot and irritated. But yeah, that's the whole fun of it, and that's the whole point of videoing it, so you guys can see what's going on. Next time I see you, we'll be at the car, sweating like crazy, trying to get this done. So I'll see you guys soon. He has an Audi A4 3.2 liter V6, but every time he starts it, it shuts right back off again. If you do have a car that you're trying to change this on, the longer you let sit, the better, because the fuel pressure regulator is going to be pressurized, obviously, with fuel, and it's actually underneath the car. Apparently, this is the regulator for a 3.2 liter Quattro, Audi Quattro. It's on the passenger side. I'll show you guys where it is underneath the car. It's right there. So there's obviously one hose on the top and there's two behind it. There is kind of like a special little clamp on there. We should be able to get it off with maybe some screwdrivers and some pliers. It's going to be interesting trying to get this out, but I just sprayed this bolt. It's I believe it's a Torx bit, maybe a Torque 30, I believe, to be able to take that out. But obviously it's rusted, so I just let the PV soak on that now. So we're going to jack the car up to get a little bit more clearance out of here. What you have to do is, obviously, you have to remove these lines. There's two behind here, and there's one in the front here going up. So obviously you want to start with the one closest to you. Have something to catch, because obviously there's going to be gas when you take these lines off. There are special tools for these, but there is a little, move this here, let me see if I can see it here. This part right here is the same thing on the other side. If you squeeze these together with like a pair of needle nose, that will compress this fitting, and you should be able to pop this line right off. You kind of get the needle nose on one side and on the other side, squeeze that, and I'll start to push this fitting together, and then pull it out, and I'll pop that line out. And then obviously there's going to be some gas in there. This hasn't been started in a while, so there's really not much pressure in here, but always have something just to catch it anyways. And then the other one's basically the same thing. There is like a blue style type clamp up there. There's a blue, I don't know if there's a different color on some maybe of your other cars, but there's a blue style clamp up here. It's kind of like a safety retainer. You got to push that in either with a screwdriver or a pair of needle nose. I got it. You push it in, and it usually goes snap, and then once it's in, you can usually wiggle that this is out as far as it will go. We got to get the front line off now, and then take this bolt out here, and this whole assembly will come out. So then when you put it back in, obviously you're going to do it in reverse order, but you kind of want to get this line started before you put it up here, because there's no room here because it's actually hitting the gas tank. So it is rearranged. This is obviously the front of it. There's only one line that goes in here. There's 3 lines total. This obviously says out. The new regulator will say out on it too and say in. Obviously in is the 2 lines that we just took off in the back here. And this one has a clear retainer clip in it. It's either a retainer clip or like a safety type clip. But it's the same concept. I mean, all you got to do is just, I'm sure there's a special tool that Audi makes or something that they want to charge you $500 for, but we're a little redneck and ghetto here, so we're doing what we can. If you guys saw that it pushed in, it's kind of hard to do it in one hand, so I'm gonna just try to maybe get that in as far as I can and try to pry it out. Now that the clip is, I kind of closed my camera there on you guys, but now that the clip is kind of pushed in, you might be able to get this out. Trying to keep you guys in a loop here as I'm doing this, but it's a little hard to do with one hand. What I'm gonna have to do though is I am going to have to put the camera down, something that I really don't want to have to do on you guys, but I got to put this down because I'm gonna need both hands to kind of push this in and pull at the same time. But like I said, just push this clip in, and then what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna take a flathead screwdriver, push this in a little bit farther, and then maybe take another one behind it and then pry it out. And I'm back. So exactly what I said, all I did was use 2 flatheads, push the clip in like so, and then get the other flathead behind here. This clip is in and the line's off a little bit just so I can show you, and just easily start to pry this out, and there you go, comes right out. Voila. And obviously, like I said, there's gas coming out of the regulator itself. Make sure you have something here to catch it. We're just using like a freaking garbage can lid, but better than letting it just go on the ground. So the next thing we have to do is obviously move the line out a little bit more, and then take this bolt out, and this whole assembly should come right out. Just want to show you guys the new regulator. Like you just saw when I was taking that one line out, it does say out and it does say in over here, so you really can't mess that up. And there's an arrow here, so obviously the arrow you want pointed going towards the front of the car, because obviously these 2 lines are taking the fuel out of the gas tank. Then it obviously sends the fuel through this line, and then this goes up into your fuel rail and your injectors and squirts into your cylinders. So obviously you just want to make sure that this arrow is going towards the front of the car, not the back of the car. You don't want to go like this. You really can't mess this up because there's 2 lines in the back, 1 line in the front. You really can't mess that up. And these lines are different size and diameter, so you can't mix the fittings up or the lines that you took off of these, because the lines will only go on, you know, the ones that they're supposed to go on. So I did realize that this is the original regulator from Audi. Really easy to tell with that. And this car's got what, 140,000 miles on it. What I did, this is actually a T25 Torx bit. All right, not a T30 or T27, it's a T25. What I did is I went in and took like a little bit of brake cleaner with the straw, sprayed this out. This bolt will actually stay in here. So all you got to do is back it up, back it out until you start to obviously feel this get loose. Make sure you got that pan underneath here, because this regulator is going to be full of gas. And once you start moving that bolt out and it starts to tip, the gas is going to come out. I obviously took the plugs off the one that came on the new one and put them on here just so the gas doesn't keep coming out. The lines won't have any gas coming out of it once you pop them off and kind of just tilt them down and drain them out. But like I said, I pulled this forward because this line right here was still somewhat connected. It was loose, but you can't pull this back far enough because it's hitting the gas tank there. So I just pulled it forward, and then I was able to pop that off. So I'm just going to be doing it in the reverse order. and just make sure that your arrow obviously is going to the front of the car. So I just put the fuel pressure regulator back in to where it sits inside this whole clamp here, and when I slid it through, all I did, I haven't pushed these in fully, but I just got these lines started before I actually mounted this where it needed to go. Since these are barbed right here, when you push these on, it should just go snap, and then that little clip that we did push in that I showed you guys with the pair of needle nose or the flathead, you'll hear it go click. The T25 Torx bit will stay in this actual casing here, and then it just lines up. There's a little hole behind here. You just push it back in there, get this tight, get this nice and secure so this doesn't move, and then push these lines on. So you're not trying to hold this in and fight with it as you push these on, because they are going to take a little bit of force to push onto this barb. So I just tightened this up. This is all good to go. This is all snug. So I'm going to start with this back one here, and should be able to hear it just go. See, it snapped here, but let's see if this one will snap on. Yeah, that one snapped on. That one on here for you. You kind of gotta, there we go. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but that's all on there. That snapped, the clip came back out. As you guys can see, I'm pushing on it and you can't get that off. That's all locked, that's all in. This is all in. You can't get that off, that's all set to go. This bolt is clamped down and we're all set to go. The only thing I suggest, this is just something that I truly believe in. Eventually this is gonna have to get changed again. So what I use is this stuff right here. Some of you may know what this is, some of you may not. This is called fluid film. This has been around for a very long time. You can use this as an actual undercoating on your car. This is basically like an oil type film. It's good for everything. You can just spray it on whatever you want on the underneath of your car, and even on chrome. You just don't really want to get it on the paint. And it forms a protective layer on it because it's an oil-based product and prevents it from rusting. So what I did before I actually put this back on here is I sprayed the inside of this black housing that this sits in, so this doesn't rust on to the actual regulator. And now what I'm gonna, and I sprayed the inside of this bolt so it threads in nice and easy, so the next time I go to take it off, it comes out nice and easy. It's kind of like an anti-seize almost that you can use on bolts, but in a liquid form, and also like an undercoating. I'm just gonna spray right in here and right where the clip is, so that clip pushes back in, and just kind of coat the fittings on the inside of this that's exposed. So this isn't gonna rust out on him, and if we ever have to take this off again, it's completely coated. So this is all coated, this is all tight, everything's back on, ready to go. The next step is that we're gonna have to prime the fuel system to fill this back in, which is just basically turning the key to the on position and to the off position like five to 7 times, and then try to start it. So we're gonna clean everything up underneath here. I'm gonna wash my hands and we're gonna do it. At the T25 Torx bit to take that one screw off, a pair of needle nose pliers, and a couple flathead screwdrivers, and you can change a regulator on, I think it's a 2008 Audi 3.2 liter V6. It's really not that hard to do. Like I said, the biggest thing is just make sure that the car is like maybe sat overnight before you've done it, just so there's not really any pressure in the regulator itself when you go to take it apart. His car has been sitting for a while, so I wasn't really worried about, you know, taking a fuse out or trying to get the pressure out of the system. There really wasn't that much. You gotta make sure you got a bucket to catch all the gas that comes out of it, and just basically follow the procedure that I showed you. Started pouring out, draining out right now. I gotta head home. It's been a really hot, long day. But at least that's changed. That was kind of like the biggest thing so far to change for him. We do have to do a control arm and stuff like that on that, but I just really wanted to make this video as far as obviously showing you guys a tutorial on how to change that particular regulator on a 2008 Audi V6 3.2 liter. Yeah, that's basically it. So I am going to end this video here. Like always, you guys already know what to do. Just go down below, give it the thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one.